Let's get it.
So yeah, go ahead and get started. Super excited for our next general session. Our digital code of conduct. Know that we're all in here. Be inclusive, be graceful, all of that. And thank you for abiding by those and being wonderful community members like usual and all of that good stuff. So thank you for that. Appreciate it. Our agenda today, we will do some subcommittee updates and then we'll get right into Microsoft for Nonprofits with Matt. I'm super excited about Matt being here and being our speaker. I met Matt at the CommsV Next event in Denver last month and was like, what? And so I've said, you have to come speak. And also, oh, Brian, look at you. You're so great. Thank you for that. It's so good when you're on a call to have people supporting you when you're doing things and talking. So thank you. That's great. Oh, and I'm going to be like, all the above. Anyway, and then we'll do some community events. So yeah, it was great to meet Matt and I was so excited about his topic. And so I said, hey, you've definitely got to come. And who's not on mute? If you're not speaking, please be on mute. So awesome. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And yeah, we're going to get to Matt's awesome presentation about nonprofits in just a second. Super important stuff. And then we'll have some community event updates and potentially discussion if we have time. I'm going to put this here. I got a new QR code, very excited for the Global Community Initiative. So if you're new to this, you're already on this call, you're probably already getting the emails and the newsletter once a month, which we're now putting out directly via email, but also up on the tech community as well. As you all know, but if you're new, our mission with MGCI is to feature event amplification, event production training, blogs, networking, technology, tools, and best practices for the Microsoft community. So basically, learning how to put on events and share knowledge about putting events on in local regional communities. So that's why we're here. And this is a QR code now to our mailing list to get signed up. And so you can interact with other folks and also get these invitations in your inbox on a regular basis. So made some new QR codes for us, which is fun. We've got our subcommittees, y'all. That's communications, amplification, sponsors and sponsorship, tech and tools training, and the regional leader leads. And so I'm going to have folks take it away from me so we can get into Matt's presentation here after our subcommittee. So Izzy or Jennifer, you want to talk about communications, please? Egg.
Hi, everybody. So it's either good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depends where in the world you are joining us from. I want you to feel very sorry for me because I had such a rough afternoon. I bought a new printer and I want to say printers are evil creatures. Like they're testing anger management to the next level. So anyways, I did not manage paper jams, whatever. I don't know how many errors I've been getting, but so yeah, failed. Anyways, that aside, I'm in my Zen now in our lovely MGCI call. Happy for everybody who's joining us. So quick update on the communications. So the April newsletter was sent on the last day of April 30th. We had an open rate of, or sent rate of, what is it? Sent? Open rate, yeah, of 57.6% and a click rate of 32.1%. Update on the May newsletter. It's in the brewing. It's currently being worked on in the background. Both Jennifer and Heather are currently reviewing the draft, and we plan to send it out sometime next week, still in May. If you have anything that you would like to contribute, you would like to see in the newsletter, this is your chance to speak up. Just drop something in a comment and we'll keep an eye on it. So that's updates on communications. Thank you, Heather.
Thank you, Izzy. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yay. Cool. Sponsors and sponsorship. Folks want to give an update on this section, Mark or Mike or Sharon?
Yeah, hey, I can jump in,
Cool.
see if Mike or Sharon has anything to add. But so we're still kind of building things together and trying to figure out what exactly is the best story to help everyone. But what we are doing, when I was in Vegas a couple weeks ago, we started talking to the sponsors that were there, and we were telling them about MGCI and what we're doing as part of the committee. And so we're going to be actually interviewing sponsors, and our plans are to put that on the site so that they can tell people in their own words what they're looking for. What are tips that they can look, what are things that they're looking for you to come to them with to help sponsor, because they all have different needs and desires and goals. And I figured that the best way to do that is, well, let's let them tell us their story so that they can share that.
Cool.
We're working on putting that together.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Right on. Very cool. Yeah, so this is, helping folks figure out how to get more sponsors for your events. So this is a great subcommittee we started recently, and so looking forward to more coming out from that. So thank you. That's great. Cool. And then let's see, we got tech and tools next. Tommy, you want to take us through, please?
Sure. Okay, so we have some updates here that we are rolling out the address map integration using Azure Maps API. So in Community Days, if you're an event organizer and you are creating an event that is in person, there's now an address selector, which we have a picture of, and you just type in your address and it'll pop up. You click on it and it will pre-populate, the state, the city. So it makes it a little easier. It also adds the latitude and longitude, which is going to be important for the next thing that's coming up down in the pipeline. So we want to get all the latitude and longitudes so that we know where these events are in the world, where they're happening, so we can help you find events near you in the future. So what else do we have here? Profile merge. Again, since we're dealing with Sessionize and Run events, we have two systems that we're pulling in information. It was previously a manual process where we'd sort of find duplicates. There's now like a little bit of automation behind the scenes but I still have to run it, every week or every 2 weeks, where it detects the two different profiles and I have to merge them together. So all the tools are coming together to help, automate some of the back end stuff that I have to do. And then the team has to validate too as well. So it's helpful for us. So what are we working on next? We're working on a couple things. So subscribing to notifications. This is something that's essentially very, very close to done. It's rolled out, it's in production, but it's not available for use yet. So there's a part of it that has to be built, which is the email part. We're working on that now. But this will allow you to subscribe to events around the world, whatever regions you define, or just within 300 meters, miles, sorry, not meters, kilometers, and miles around your house. So
if it's like right there in the next room, you could be like, I'm totally going to that event. Love it.
Meters. So we're working on that. That's coming out. We'll show you a picture of what that's going to look like. It's really cool. And then we're also doing a database upgrade. So we've been working on this for a while. It's a big deal to move from Azure Table Storage to Cosmos DB, right? We have to migrate the data. We have to rebuild all the APIs and all the jobs that go on. So that's a lot of work. So those are things keeping me busy and keeping the team busy. What's next? Again, these are sort of up in the air. We were anticipating a migration of moving the site and moving the tools, but we're not sure about that yet. That's still in discussion. So that's all that's happening this month in Community Days. So here's a quick preview of what we're calling alerts. So you would create, this is the management screen. You can create an alert for different types of scenarios. So let's go to the next one. This one's just a general. Hopefully we got. Okay, so yeah, so if you say new alert, it'll ask you what kind of alert you can, and we're inspired by Facebook Marketplace, where you put in, 100 miles around my house, and you'll see I can go to, it'll be notifying me events. That's obviously way too small of a range, but you can put, 1,000, you can put in someone else's address, you could put in your address. It's the same map picker thing that we've been using. And then it also has the same slicers at the top, where do you want it? What country, what region, what sub-region? They're all those slicers are on the events page right now. So, you can go to the events page and look at just events from different regions right now. Also, it's not on the screen, but down below, it's going to be what types of events: free events, paid events, all events. What types of notifications do you want to get? Call for speakers, call for sponsors, when registration opens, and that's going to just craft the email in a certain way where you're going to see like, oh, these things have just launched, or these are ready for registration, right? So it'll just break down the email a little easier for consumption, and we'll send them out bi-weekly or monthly. That's the current cadence for those right now. So this is coming very soon. We're just doing the last bits. The migration kind of took over. So as soon as I've finished testing there, all right. Well, that's all that
one. Yeah,
we got. And then we don't have the volunteer one in there. No. Okay.
Hang on. Boop. There we go.
There we go. Okay. So we want to thank our monthly volunteers again.
Yes.
These folks have contributed in just general conversations with me, submitting things through the UI, through the website, help testing, help finding defects, documentation, approving events, just helping out in general. So we want to thank everybody that's covered here. And so when you help out, you're always up there on the website. So we have active and people that have helped out in the past. So we're slowly building a team here to facilitate the communitydays.org website.
Yep. Awesome. Cool. Any questions for Tom, everybody? Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
As usual. Yeah. And Chris, to answer your question out loud as well, currently we are only having events on the site that are longer than 4 hours. Or 5 hours. So if you're doing like a regional or a quarterly meetup that's a longer event, we allow those on there. For a monthly, like hour to 2 hour long reoccurring user group, we're not hosting or having those on the community.org site quite yet. Because there's a number of different places, because unfortunately Microsoft's user group and platforms are fractured. I'm allowed to say that because that's true. So there's user groups on the Azure Tech, there's some on Power Platform. We are in big discussions right now about the Microsoft Tech community, which Brian and Josh on my team work on the back end of now, on the engineering of it. And so we're talking about where to help host these things, as far as like having a listing for your user group and then potentially a map. So in process and a real conversation, which is really exciting. And so more to come on that. But for now, Community Days is like the free tech events that are like one day longer than about 4 or 5 hours, focused on Microsoft, not vendor, partner, those kinds of silly kind of things, or training, and then the bigger paid events. So we're working on all of that stuff right now, and always open to feedback, but that's where we're at, just to say that. So cool. Next, training workstream update. Wes and Sharon. I think Wes, I see you on for sure. So
Yep.
Thanks.
Good time to get a choke in my throat. All right. Yep. So we've got a meeting coming up, I think, next week. Our next topic is going to be building your team, essentially, talking about the different roles and responsibilities and how to delegate those out and how to work with different people. I think our community tends to have a bad habit of people trying to do everything themselves, which isn't super healthy. Mark Rackley.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always good to build up a team of folks around you to spread it around. So that's what we're going to be talking about this week. Or next month, or gosh, I can't speak at all. Next week, this month. All right, and then we've got all the other topics that we currently have lined up here on the schedule through the end of the year. Basically, the way these work, if you haven't been, if you haven't been to these before, we'll generally have some bullet points and topics that we'll walk through, but we really intend it to be a back and forth. So. We'd love to have you there. Love to have you contribute your thoughts and your experiences, and hopefully we'll see you at the next one.
Awesome. Yeah, coming soon. I was just talking about this. I did a presentation yesterday about MGCI in the community area of Build here, and hopefully those of you who are at Build, I want to make sure we see each other this week. So let's try and make sure I figure that out. But yeah, I was talking about this topic about committee roles and responsibilities. It's super important to figure out which do you have enough people to put on one of these even 1-day events? There's a lot of things that go into it. So I'm really excited about this, and to just talk through kind of sort of small, medium, large kind of thing. Like we just finished, the Vegas show. I had 18 work streams for that, but that's like a 3,000 to 4,000 person event, right? So it's a little different, but it's the same in many ways because the activities that you do don't really change. They're just how they scale, So yeah, it'll be great, Wes. Thank you. Terrific. Cool. Let's see. I'm going to do a couple more things and then we're going to get with Matt. Build is at Seattle, is in Seattle, Washington. That's where I am this week. And it's at the convention center, the main older Arch Convention Center. So that's been here a long time. Let's see. As you know, these general sessions are the third Tuesday of the month, and we do an AM and PM. And we've got some amazing speakers coming up. Tim Balk's going to talk about unconventional ways to promote community events. I'm super excited about that. And Say is going to talk about thriving against the odds, building a formidable community in unfavorable environments. Looking for speakers for September, October, and November. And so if you have a topic, anybody can come and be a speaker. And so if you would like to do that, general session guest, aka.ms, general session guest, if you would like to suggest a topic, that would be great. So yeah, check that out. And I'll put that link in the chat here in a second, but you can also click on it on the PowerPoint Live. But yeah, love to have folks come in, talk about best practices around events or something cool you're working on. Yeah, and we'll get people scheduled. So it'll be amazing. Anywho, that leads us into Matt. Matt, come on board. Yay.
All right.
Hi.
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to turn it over to you if you want me to do slides, or you can click on whatever easy way. But yeah, introducing Matt, it was so great to meet you. And Matt brought his sons, brings his sons that got to meet them. They were presenting as well. And just a great presentation about nonprofits, super knowledgeable, and was so happy to hear all of this. So take it away. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Heather. I appreciate it. It was great meeting you at Comms Be Next.
Yeah.
And thank you for the opportunity to present today. I hope it kind of opens some eyes on what's available and how Microsoft supports nonprofits. So a little about me. I am navigating this forward, right? I did take control.
Yep,
All
you
right,
got it. Yeah, right on.
Awesome.
Cool.
During my day job, I work for Kyndryl. After hours, I run 2 nonprofits, co-founders of 2 of them. The first one is called IT for Nonprofits. It is kind of taking my background. I've been helping nonprofits since about 2007 from a technical perspective. And I really saw how much nonprofits really need technical help. A lot of companies start their nonprofits with a mission in mind, but not necessarily on how they're technically going to accomplish it or simplify things. So 2017, I decided to create my own. That way I could better help nonprofits. All the services we provide are pro bono. We are a limited group, so we are pretty selective of the nonprofits we choose to support. Love to help them all, but we just don't, I have a day job. Now, something that came out of IT for Nonprofit was some of the nonprofits we support are not local to myself or board members. So we thought, hey, why don't we come up with an idea how we can train, if somebody has, older kids that, they work for the nonprofit, or, we can help train them on how to do day in, day out IT jobs, be our hands and feet at the locations. And we decided, hey, why limit it to that? Let's open it up. Let's just do technical certification scholarships. So we started this in 2021. It's been an amazing experience to see the students and recipients start out with certifications, training, and going through it, getting certified, and seeing them get their first job. It's been amazing. Love it. So when I was entering the field, I had mentors that helped me. It's my way of giving back. So definitely enjoy doing that. Just got some clips here. Good thing with FTSI and IT for Nonprofit is we do deployments for some of the nonprofits that we help. and it's a perfect opportunity for our scholarship recipients to join us and actually get hands-on installing equipment, putting it in. I've got a few of them holding their certifications. All right.
This is so cool, by the way.
Nice.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
So let me dive into what Microsoft provides for nonprofits. It's pretty amazing. First up, here's some resources. These slides I think will be available afterwards. But if you go to Microsoft.com/nonprofits, that's the quick way to get to it. But they've got offerings for most of the major Microsoft products. Just want to give an idea here. The grants they give are pretty significant. There can be as much as 80% off what commercial would pay. And that's really Microsoft's way of supporting communities. They also have pricing, special pricing for, the larger nonprofits with your E series. The others were the business series for SMB. Just some kind of quick table here of what's available. Business Basic, you actually get free up to 300. Business Premium, free for the first 10. However, there was a recent change, which actually I will share on yep, here we are. Next slide. So just a few days ago, just in time for this presentation, Microsoft announced they're making a few adjustments to it. So the donated 10 seats for Business Premium, it's going away. I'm sure they have the reasons, and definitely appreciate everything they've done to this point. But they definitely still have the basic plans, and then of course the deeply discounted for the standard and premium plans. It's not just the main features that they have discounts on. Here's some ones that are focused on Microsoft Teams, which is what I do in my day job. So definitely some decent discounts. So if you are at a nonprofit and you're not utilizing it, I can't tell you how many nonprofits I've worked with where they didn't even know this existed and they've been paying commercial pricing. And this is a big difference. It's, a significant reduction of costs, which allows them to use that money for missions instead of overhead. Just some other Copilot, even Copilot, which is the new product, is discounted about 15%. So they do also offer operating system discounts. These are actually done through I'd call it a nonprofit clearinghouse called TechSoup. TechSoup is not just Microsoft. They have other products in there as well, but Microsoft uses TechSoup to validate your nonprofit's 501c3 status. But you can actually get developer tools, servers, and desktop operating systems through them. There is some requirements for licenses if they are paid employees, staff, or executive staff like board members. You can assign a granted license. The discounts are really for volunteers or anyone that's contracted, temporary staff. That's just make sure when you set up your nonprofit for this, try to do your best to keep it in where Microsoft wants it to be. They also offer Azure grants, which is amazing. $2,000 a year for nonprofits for anything that you developed or have out on the cloud, any service. And they actually also have a very good onboarding concierge and success center. Lots of good assistance and help. You can even get on the phone with someone to help you through the process. I think this, to me, it shows that Microsoft gets it when it comes to nonprofits and supporting communities. They also have some really good training. A lot of it is focused on nonprofit encounters and business practices. So definitely good to access this and go through it. I think I'll skip this one. The ads for social impact is something they recently paused, but they would actually give you advertising grants. Pretty sure it's coming back. I think they're just kind of reworking it. But it's nice to be able to advertise your nonprofit with, have some of that paid for. All right. Next thing I want to get into, one of the big things that I see with nonprofits is some of the tooling, and Microsoft actually offers it directly. They've a nonprofit called Rubicon worked with a partner, and they built out a volunteer management system. And the cool thing about it is, instead of keeping it close to their chest, they open it up and they actually allow anyone to use it, which is amazing. That's a lot of development that went into that from both Rubicon and their partner. But it's definitely a big strategy, or big tough thing for nonprofits, is how do they manage their volunteers. A lot of them are doing it through spreadsheet, but it's helpful to be able to give them dashboards or ways for volunteers to switch days with each other without, a volunteer coordinator's intervention. Lots of cool stuff that they can do in here, and actually I have a couple of screenshots where they tie in Power Apps and Power BI. Rubicon is kind of an outlier, I'd say, because they have, I think, 70,000 volunteers. They're a nonprofit that helps people when they're dealing with a natural disaster or storms and such. They're usually the first ones on the street out there handing out, helping people, whatever they do it. So they have a lot of volunteers, and this is a main reason that they developed this. It's pretty amazing. Just a couple of slides here. I want to show you the process for signing up. First step for Microsoft is they want to validate your organization eligibility. So they have kind of some forms you fill out. Make sure you have your paperwork. Submission and eligibility verification could take up to 7 days. Usually doesn't take that long. The other one that you definitely want to get signed up for too is TechSoup. It's only for nonprofits. They do, sorry Heather, there are some other vendors on here on the slide, but they do more than just Microsoft.
Okay.
They actually have other stuff as well.
Yep.
But it's a great one to sign up for. Now they do charge for some of them. Like if I want to get the Microsoft Windows 11 license, I think it's $20 or $30, but that money actually goes to their fees to keep them operating. But TechSoup also has a organization eligibility quiz that you go through and submit. Theirs does take about a week to get approved. But once you do, you have full access to all the different products. All right, for those of you that maybe get introduced to nonprofits or not sure why we're talking about that today, this is kind of my slide to kind of tell you, hey, we all have our skills, and there's skills that we can actually, provide to nonprofits to help them out. A lot of times people create a nonprofit with a mission in mind. And once they get to a certain point, that's where technology can start to kind of hold them back. Plus they're on very limited budgets. And sometimes, especially you've found that you'll get some vendors in there selling to the nonprofits, and they're trying to sell them a lot more than they need. Perhaps there's, growth or something in there, but a lot of times it's better for them to grow into it and purchase parts that they need rather than buy, the entire product. So it's, in short, it's good for us to help them. Now, if you're like, hey, I don't know about, have I been impacted by a nonprofit? I pretty much guarantee you probably have. There's hospitals that are nonprofit, a lot of schools. You've been out to parks. There's a lot of open spaces that are work of, cleaned or provided by nonprofits. So it's definitely, it's out there all over the place. You just, open your eyes and you'll see it. And that kind of leads me into the next stage. How can, if you're interested, not everybody has the time, everyone has their season of life, but if you're interested, I want to provide you with some ideas around it. The first one is, you have an organization and you want to help nonprofits. Some of the things you can do is provide discounts. You can provide nonprofit offerings. In fact, if you create specific nonprofit offerings, Microsoft has a specific nonprofit partner site that you can get highlighted on. And I will say that nonprofits out there, they all know each other. So if you get out and help a couple of them, you're going to get calls. Another way that you can help, as you provide services and such, you obviously get listed as a partner of record. A lot of us as partners need to show so many seats to Microsoft, and it's a way to do it that doesn't cost the nonprofit anything. As an individual, a lot of companies, the number of companies I've worked with in the last 15, 20 years offer a volunteer day, allow you to go volunteer for a nonprofit. A lot of them have places where you can go, but I've always used those to help the nonprofits that I'm currently engaged with. You can also become an IT volunteer for a nonprofit. Even occasional help can help them considerably. I've got a couple of nonprofits that I support that even something like they need a new computer is something that can kind of keep them up at night. It seems simple to us because we do it all the time, but just being able to help them in a small thing to us, can help them feel that they're being supported. Also, if you're not sure if you want to help a nonprofit, but you're not sure about it, the link at the bottom is a great place to find organizations that are near you. It's greatnonprofits.org/near-me. If you search through what you have, find something that you're passionate about, find out about who they are, what they do, what their mission is. You can also volunteer for non-IT roles, get to know who they are. If you feel like you're at a point, you can ask them, look, I work in IT, or I have expertise in these particular software skills. If you need help, let me know. It can go a long way. So some opportunities that I've seen that I've helped with is sometimes they're just trying to figure out what product they need. If they're looking at, for instance, I've got a number that are looking at Microsoft for their productivity tools, but they might also already use or be looking at Google as well. So we come in and do a document comparing the two of them. And of course, we all know which one wins in that case. It's always Microsoft. But for the most part, that's a lot of that has to do with the discounts that Microsoft provides. But in any case, a research and suggestion document is a great way to help them. They're looking at a new CRM software, for instance. You can do the legwork to talk to a couple different vendors, things that we do in our day jobs that can, provide them the information they need to make an intelligent decision. We do a lot of technical assessments. New nonprofits that sign up with us, we'll go in and look at what they have, what they probably need to look at replacing before long. Could be budget planning. And a big one that we do quite often is cost efficiency. How do you find ways to reduce costs? It's amazing sometimes when they are sold products they don't really need, or even something like a phone system. They might be paying $400 or $500 a month for a phone system. We can find ways to reduce that and move that money back into missions and community instead. Just got a slide here showing some of the sample deliverables we've done, cost references, new deployments. You got down here, we've got where we were doing access point placement for an install that a lot of my students helped with, which is fantastic. Another big one is vendor negotiations. Nothing is more intimidating to a lot of these founders of these organizations and dealing with vendors, because a lot of them have been taken advantage of, but having someone that has kind of a tech savvy background is super helpful in these. And I just got some pointers here. So when you're gathering quotes from vendors, you obviously be clear what your role is. Look, I'm here helping the nonprofit. I'm going to collect this data and I'm going to provide them a report. always tell them about the nonprofit. Hey, let me tell you how this nonprofit really helps the community. And that's about the point where I then say, if you offer discounts, make sure it's listed in the quote. It doesn't mean they have to, but sometimes they say, yeah, we can. We just need your, validate your 501c3. Great. Let's move on. A lot of times, vendors that offer the discounts are going to be chosen over others because the nonprofit feels that they are actually supporting their mission. So just last week, I helped a nonprofit replace a computer that was dated from 2006. I have no idea how it was a laptop. I don't know how it still ran, but it finally died.
Oh.
And yeah, I've actually only got 2 more slides left. I saw the note.
Yep.
But you've got equipment that might be 3 or 4 years old, which to us is ancient. That's the problems of first world country, I guess. That is something that could be just an amazing machine for these nonprofits. We pull cables and such. That's a great learning opportunity for our scholarship recipients. We'll install equipment. I try not to do this one too much, but we do provide some occasional remote support. If they've got something that's causing them to be down, we have ways to remote in, help them get them back operational again. We do a lot of training too. A lot of, you introduce a nonprofit to, for instance, the Microsoft ecosystem. It's overwhelming. They've got a lot of different options and capabilities. So we provide little tidbits of, hey, here's the training on how to use Microsoft Loop. Here's the training on Microsoft Teams. Here it is on the phone system. And that kind of brings me to my summary. I think you'll find that I think most nonprofits out there, they need help. We are all gifted. We all have special skills, and we have a great way or a great place to be able to assist. And seeing your skills help them make a direct impact is rewarding both for you and for the nonprofit. And just to finish off, Microsoft gets it with nonprofits. Their discounts are amazing. And I think, be sure to download Microsoft's nonprofit ebook.
Cool.
Thank you, Heather. Appreciate it. Hope it was useful.
Super useful. I'd give a round of goodness to Matt. That was awesome. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to put the link for that download here in a second. I was going to click that and do that for us, but because I went and read it after you suggested it too, so that's great. We have a ton of questions, and I want to make sure we had time to get to them. So I'll put the download link for the crash course here in a second, and then also I'm going to take control back for a moment, and then I'm going to put this up as well, folks. I love and need your feedback on these sessions, so we keep doing things like this, and so please let us know through the feedback that you're like, yeah, you like this, and also any other feedback you have as well about the program and about all kinds of things. So with that, I'm going to go back into our questions. If folks want to raise your hand and come off mute and ask a question, or ask a question that you put in chat, great. I'm also going to go back up here and see what we had at the top. I think the one thing folks were asking, Matt, and I saw that let's see, someone put a link to the announcements about what's going on with the discontinuation. Do you have more information on that? I mean, or is it just kind of what you said, that there's just a discontinuation of some of the lower level nonprofit grants?
Yeah, the biggest one is they used to give 10 business premium grants per nonprofit, and that is going away. You'll still have up to 300 for the business basic. And if you want the other, if you want premium, it is discounted. It's still significantly discounted. But the other offers, if you still need the installable office, you got to go with the standard or premium.
Okay, got it. Huh. Yeah, I hadn't.
Yeah, once you get over 300, that's where you have negotiations directly with your nonprofits.
Got it. Yeah. Let's see. What does the validation look? Does the validation look the same in other countries outside of the U.S.? Is a question.
That is a great question, and unfortunately I don't have. I've only done U.S. based countries for nonprofits at this point. I think obviously each country has their own nonprofit requirements and submissions. So assuming it would be the same, it would still validate your nonprofit status.
Yeah. Matt, I saw on LinkedIn the other day, I bookmarked it. I haven't had a chance to go look, but I found some folks from Microsoft nonprofits, like who actually work at Microsoft. How about that? And I was going to go connect to them and also potentially connect them with you so that we get even more up-to-date information. So I'll go hunt that down, folks, about the different countries too. So we'll put that on my list of things to do for sure. So that's all good. I am looking. What other questions did we have? I'm trying to see here. There was a lot of chit chat, but any specific questions, folks? Going back up here. Anyone?
So I actually had a question.
Please.
So I was wondering on the basic plan, let's say that I have like a small nonprofit that I just know the person, I'm talking to them, and they say they need an IT solution. Is there anything I need to know about? I think I put the question a little better in the chat, but is there what are the differences between the basic plan and the others? Like, is it, sorry, I think like a lot of people here, I'm a little overwhelmed also, so I'm kind of trying to process all this so that, like Matt said, other people who are overwhelmed with it in nonprofits, I can, kind of condense and explain it to them. But the main thing I'm seeing is it looks like there's a limited number of applications in the basic plan compared to the other plans.
Yeah, the big difference between the basic and the standard from my perspective is with the standard, you get the installable Office suite. Whereas with the basic, it's all the web-based Office suite. There is a couple other pieces in there, webinar hosting and Teams. There's some reporting tools, but the big thing from most nonprofits is, do I install it or do I go from web-based? And most of them need the installed versions from my experience. So that's kind of the key.
Oh, and installed, you mean like Word, PowerPoint, Excel, that stuff?
To have Word installed locally. Otherwise, when I open up a Word document, it would open up in Edge or Chrome as a web-based PowerPoint or web-based Word document.
Oh, okay.
You can still do most functionality in it. It's just not locally installed Word and Excel.
Okay, and I know that's one thing I've been wondering about is I'm looking at a lot of these nonprofits as, is there a way that we can make them decentralized because oftentimes when you have a nonprofit, the first thing you think of is, I need office space, I need to give people laptops. And the way I'm looking at it is there a way to basically utilize the cloud so that your volunteers can just use their phone or their laptop or not even have to go into an office?
Yeah, of course. Any of the Office apps are, you provide them the access and they just add it to their existing Outlook client, or you give them links to sign into Teams.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
thanks. Yeah.
Cool. Tamika, I think you're next.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Thank you for the information. I think it was very useful. I wanted to ask you about the scholarships that you provide or the training that you provide.
Yes.
My organization, actually, we're a nonprofit. We teach youth entrepreneurship and financial literacy. And I have a cohort this summer of youth that we will be teaching. So this is a twofold question. We'll be teaching them about different careers it's a career exploration. So I was wondering if that was something that we could potentially talk about offline, because I'm always looking for different ways to show the youth, what they can do. And the other thing is, do you have available like internships that you would be willing to train? Because I also have a group that we're looking to place them as interns so that they could learn, and it would be paid on our end. So you wouldn't need to necessarily offer them the payment, but I guess the knowledge. And does it matter that we're in DC?
No, it doesn't, but let's sync up.
Okay.
I think my contact information is in here. Otherwise, I can.
Yep. Yeah, we'll make sure.
Yeah,
There,
definitely.
there it
Let's
is.
link up.
There you go.
I'm
Yeah,
up in
sounds like
DC a couple of times a year. So
sounds like a
Awesome.
good chat for
Yeah.
sure.
Great.
Awesome. Yeah, Tamika, I want to learn more about that too. I would love to know more about what you're doing. So that's great. Very cool.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
And this is my
let's-
first call,
go
so I would like to talk to someone about so I can have a full understanding about the committees and how I could be also helpful and maybe do a talk at some point once I get my feet settled a little bit.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, happy to guide folks through for sure. So yeah, we can get something set up, and I'll make sure that you're in our teams as well, so we can chit chat there too. So yep, very cool. We've got literally 1 minute or 30 seconds left. So today the rest of the slides for that are in here are sort of our typical resources slides. And again, love any feedback you have. But we'll put these so what we're doing now is we're putting these and we're recording them and we're putting them up on our Microsoft Community Learning YouTube. So also, Matt, thank you so much. And let's give Matt another round of applause. These are great and great slides. And thank you so much for coming today and talking to us. And also, yeah, if, Matt's slides will be up for folks too, but, if you're using someone else's slides, always give them credit. It's nice to do that. So, but definitely I do, because I've given his a few of these and now at a couple of places, and it's really nice to do that sort of thing. So, yep. Yeah, so claps and high fives all around. Slides will go up. The on-demand will go up on YouTube. It takes a couple of days for the on-demand to get up there. But yeah, these are every month. We have another one at 5 p.m. Pacific time later today. And then we have our event training coming up on the 29th, I believe. So definitely check that out. And we'll continue posting up on LinkedIn and out on the Microsoft Tech community. So yeah, let me see if there's anything last minute here. Yeah.
Sherry raised her hand.
Good stuff. So yeah, that's it, everybody. Have a great day and talk soon. And thank you so much for being the best community in tech.
Oh,
So-
Heather,
yes. Yes.
Sherry Ogle just raised her hand.
Okay. Or was it a high five?
Sorry. Hi, it was supposed to be high five. Sorry about
Yeah.
that.
That's all good.
Yeah. Sorry, but Heather, I just have a quick question for you.
Yeah, sure.
Look, I'm all the way from South Africa, and
wonderful.
I'm busy
Yes.
with a non-profit training program as well for our youth. And I was actually intrigued about what I've heard here today. It's going to
Uh-huh.
help me in a lot of way in terms of creating content for teaching
Great.
and training of the youth. I've dropped my email in the chat box. It's 87kids@gmail.com. If you can add me to collaboration groups, that will be highly appreciated, please. It
Sure.
will really help me in my journey that I'm on.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll probably send you a link to fill out a form and stuff. But yeah, happy to have you join all the things. So yep.
I will.
Sounds good.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
All right. Awesome. Cool. All right, everybody. With that, more high fives and have a great day. So thanks so much. And Matt, we'll see you later today at 5 for our next
Yes.
one for the next round. So awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Great. Thank you.
Coolio. Okay. All right. Bye, everybody. Take care.